It's time to dad.
Hey guys, welcome back to Time to Dad. I just surprised the shit out of Joe. It looks like the way you sat back. Thank you guys for joining us, hanging out with us. Let's see. We haven't done a check-in in a hot minute, so I wanted to do one. I'll put you guys on the hot seat. So in the past, you want 2 weeks or a month? Just pick one.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Month.
All right.
All right.
So in the past 2 weeks, proudest dad moment, and go.
It's 2 weeks.
Oh my god.
Alex, you go first.
I got it. I think I know. So my wife has been kind of making me not bathe my baby, but when she's done, I get to like dry her up, lotion her up, put a diaper, get her pajamas on. That's the only thing that I do. So I've been doing that for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I can't. Sometime last week, she spent the night at her mom's for they're watching something on Netflix, some Bridgerton related shit on Netflix. Her and her sisters wanted to all watch it together. So
Wait, what kind of related shit?
Bridgerton, it's a British bullshit show. Don't worry about it. It's a chick show. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Already forgot about it.
That's why I said it. So my kids were away from the house, and all the kids got a bath. And then when my daughter Haley, was getting changed, she was just like looking around, so confused, like, "Hey, dude, this isn't your job. Who are you?" And it's her mom or her aunt doing it, but they're like, but she was like really confused because that was mine and her little ritual. Like I would, dry her up, lotion her up, put a diaper on, just pajamas. That's daddy and daughter time. Like it's a weird little ritual, but like we bonded so much over that little thing that when she was out of her element at her grandma's house, you know what I mean? She was like, "What?
This is not your job, Grandma."
Yeah, like exactly. So I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like that she would even notice that somebody else was doing that job. That's a very cool, proud dad moment. I don't know if that
Nice.
you guys.
How old is she now?
She's 3 months. She's about to be 4. And
Okay, so yeah, you're
minus 7 days, I think.
What was the date?
What was when was she born? No, not November 5th. Huh?
Damn it, Joe asking the hard questions.
February 7th.
February 7th. Okay, so 1 month. All right, because mine was March 7th. So there you go. I'm not going to forget that. Look at that. So, Alex, we just figured out we got kids 1 month apart, and we both have a baby.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude.
We just figured out the other day that we both have been a year, and we figured out we have a kid with the same name.
That's insane, dude.
Right?
You want to hear?
Nice.
You want to hear when my twins were born? They were born on November 5th. You know that movie, November 5th? Yes, obviously, same day.
Remember.
That's what I was gonna say. My wife, I told her because the doctors were fighting, trying to get her to like delay her delivery. So they're like shooting her up with random crap. And all in the effort to delay or at least help the babies develop their lungs. So they're giving her steroid shots, all these things, right? And I told my wife, these kids better wait till midnight to be born. And she's like, why? Because it's the 5th of November, and she completely didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. And then after they were born, she's like, what the fuck was that? Why would you say that? You would hope they were born in the 5th of November. I'm like, there's a whole movie where that's like the most iconic line in the movie. Like, it's a fucking dope movie. And she's like, what? And then I don't know if we watched it or she remembered that she had watched it. She's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, like that was a
Wait, so what movie?
V for Vendetta.
You never the dude with the white mask?
Yeah. But I don't remember too many lines from that.
That's
you need
the line.
It's the line from the movie, bro.
It was so long ago. I was a kid.
Well, watch it another day.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's an
Probably watched
iconic
it,
line.
like
So,
on TNT or something, like on TV.
I just like the fireworks display that was going on
yeah,
with
that
all
was
the
pretty
fucking
epic.
buildings.
Yeah, it was epic.
Your turn, Joe.
I like it. All right. So last 2 weeks, we've been going through the typical toddler hating younger sibling, resentment, behavior, all that type of stuff. It's been, fun each day. Every day is a little bit different. But I guess so. My wife went to, I think it was 2 weeks now. Might be like 18 days, but we're gonna call it 2 weeks. It's close enough. She went to a concert, so I actually had both of them. She went to an Armin concert. He's like EDM, electric dance music. If you guys didn't know what that is, so her and her brother love it. So they went into Brooklyn. So I had them for the night shift, and then the next morning, basically, until she was recovering and coming back to Long Island. And it was actually, I thought my oldest son was going to be like, he's very, very into me not giving him attention, the baby. So he only wants me. So I thought it was going to be like that, but he was actually like really cool as long, like as I was holding the baby, feeding him, I was just kind of like,
Oh, that's a fucking wasp.
what
That's
happened?
gonna kill me.
Don't die, dude.
Okay, we're good.
Do you have an EpiPen? Are you allergic?
Perks of shooting outside in your workshop.
There you go.
You get critters from the outdoors in here.
Or on the Galaxy, like it looks like both you guys are right now.
Yeah.
Kind of jealous. I'm in an office. You guys are in the Galaxy. But I thought it was pretty cool. Like I had both of them, and like we were running around outside. And it was just kind of like cool. Like I was holding the one baby as he was sleeping, so his name Baby Joey. I was like running around, but keeping him asleep as I was chasing my other son because he wanted to make sure that I was playing with him. And it was like a kind of like a vivid, like one of those things you just feel like you're going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Like forever type thing. As I was probably shaking the baby a little bit, running, right?
Don't say that, dude.
Not shaking baby syndrome, but just, yeah.
Oh,
my God.
CPS is about to knock on your door, Joe.
All right, we're going to edit, no, but just
Edit that part out.
running around a little bit and, just kind of keeping them both happy and alive. I thought it was, happy, I guess, in that sense, where my oldest son has really not been the happiest with the baby yet. So that was pretty cool, kind
That's
of
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So what about you next?
All right, so I'll give you mine's an interesting one, not because so I talked a little bit about helping coach the T-ball team for Emerson over the past few months. And I'm not their dad, but something that made me feel super proud, usually like when the kids are doing good or when they're running out to the field, I'll give them a high five or I'll give them a knuckles and pound it or whatever. And two of the kids within the past 2 games have asked for a hug instead of giving me a pound.
That's cool.
Which was at first I was like, well, that's awkward as fuck. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Obviously I gave the kids hugs, but I was kind of taken back by it. That these kids that I've only known for a few months, instead of a high five or pounding it, wanted to give me a hug, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's kind of a proud dad moment for me that, they kind of respected me and looked up to me enough to want to hug for me instead of that. A more somber thing that's not really a proud dad moment, but more of an interesting moment for me. My mom gave me over the Memorial Day weekend, she gave me a flag and told me I should take it with Emerson and take it out to the cemetery to my dad's grave. And I was like, okay. And we didn't do anything crazy exciting for Memorial Day this year. We just kind of played it chill and I almost forgot. And so he had just eaten dinner and I was like, shit, all right, we got to go. And so we go out there and it's he's been out there a couple times with me and it's always a little weird. Because for me, it's just, you guys have lost loved ones, the emotions involved.
Yeah.
But it's weird to take him because he asks me questions that I just don't I don't know how to fucking answer them.
Mm.
And so we go there and we put the flag down, and I tell him that he can talk to Grampy or whatever, and he talks to him. Alex, this is kind of related to one of the previous episodes we talked about stuff. You'll see why in a minute. But so we put the flag down, and then my mom's parents are also buried in the same cemetery. So we drive around. We go to their headstones, clean them up, and he had never been to those to see where my parents were buried. And so I'm explaining to him who they are. And my mom's brother's there as well. And Emerson likes to walk around, and he's very respectful of the headstones, but he wants to know like everybody that's around where they're buried, right? And so I'm reading headstones to him, and he's asking me who they are, and I'm trying to explain like I don't know them, buddy. They're just people who have passed away, because he understands what passed away means. And we're getting back in the car, and he's like, why? We need to go back by Grampy's grave. And I'm like, okay, we can go back by. And I was like, why, buddy? And he's like, well, because I want to make a wish. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I want to wish that my wish to be that Grampy was still alive. And so I'm losing my shit in the front seat.
Dude. Yeah.
And so we drive back around. And Alex, I think this was one of the first few episodes we recorded where we were talking about strange happenings with animals and things, and how they're related to loved ones that you've lost. And so as I'm pulling back up to my dad's headstone, there's a chipmunk just sitting right on his headstone. And as Emerson and I get out of the car, the chipmunk scurries off. Emerson thinks it's like the greatest thing. He's like, there's a chipmunk. And so for me, that was like that was an interesting dad moment. And he makes his little wish, and he asked me if his wish is going to come true. And I'm like, well, buddy, that's up to God. And I'm not going to say no. That's not going to happen. Grampy can't come back. And so I'm trying to explain to him that that's up to God. And he gets home and he already knows the answer, that's not possible, right? And so he gets home and he's telling Jen, my wife, about, we went to see Grammy's parents and we went to see Grampy. And then he basically mentioned, like, he made the wish and it wasn't going to happen. But he made it anyway. And it was like super sad. And it's just really weird trying to explain that stuff to him. And that's part of the reason why when I go, I don't always take him, is just because he always has these tough, like, inquiring little mind type questions that I don't know how to answer. And he's at such an age, I don't want to answer it wrong to where it affects his outlook on anything. So it's just a weird situation. But to kind of tie in, I think we want to talk a little bit about Memorial Day. That's what we did for Memorial Day this year. Is we just played it super simple. We tried to go to the local Memorial Day parade or whatever, but that got canceled because of rain. So we were pretty bummed out. The kids are bummed out because we have a lot of military in our family, and so we always, military is number one in our hearts, and they protect us and keep us all safe. So we were pretty bummed about that, but we really didn't do anything much for Memorial Day. Didn't really do a cookout. We did do a family lunch out, but that was about it. Did you guys do anything exciting?
No. Unfortunately, we were supposed to go to a barbecue on Sunday at one of my buddy's house, but my son had a fever the day before, and it was hacking up a lung and coughing every, that day on. So kind of didn't want to bring him around other kids and get them all sick and do all that stuff.
Everybody worried about the Rona still.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could have went, type thing, but it was like, I don't know. I feel bad doing that.
Emerson he brings so much junk home from school that, like, when somebody's coughing or their kid's coughing, we're like, but whatever.
I don't really care. I'm sure you guys get it, right? Like everybody's, my wife's like, oh, we can't go. I think she probably just didn't really want to go anyway. That was probably her way back.
Scapegoat, yeah.
I was like, I got friggin' ton of stuff to do anyway around here. So if he's not feeling well, we're not going to get anybody sick, and I can get some stuff done. So we ended up doing that. Sunday, just so. Yeah, we didn't do anything. Unfortunately, I wanted to, and then on Monday,
It was kind of a weird Memorial Day this year. I don't
It
know what it was, but I don't know. It snuck up on us, and we're not planners. We don't do anything extravagant, but we usually do like a cookout. And then, like I said, the parade is always a staple we like to go to and stuff like that. And so when the parade didn't happen, it just kind of like threw everything off for what we had planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to do something Monday. I was going to have like 10 people over from the office and just kind of chill and hang out. And then the weather was so crap. So, and then.
Yeah, you got the same garbage we did.
Yeah, it was looking bad. I mean, it wasn't bad from like 12 to 3, and then like the wind and rain came. And so I kind of looked at it, made the call on Sunday. Hey, if the little guy's not feeling better or looking better, and the weather sucks, then I'm not going to be inside. I wanted to be outside, so we just did nothing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But
I didn't do anything.
But you?
It's not a day that I look forward to either, just because, it seems like every other year, I'm just losing another buddy and just like, hey man, so and so, like, they're not here no more. And I got that call like maybe 2 years ago. They're like, hey, Lucero, like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, hey, I'm fine. What are you doing? And they're like, no, some other guy with your same last name killed himself. Dude, like, that sucks, because all my friends thought that was me, and I'm just like, I'm glad it's not me. But dude, every year it's a little bit harder to just look forward to not a good day, at least for me. You know what I mean? Everybody else gets
different meaning for you.
Yeah, way different.
Yeah, it's like yeah, people will enjoy a discount or an extra special deal, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's what that day was for, but I'm glad you're getting along just fine with that. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I think that's why. I think that's why not having the parade bummed us out, because that's literally the only, like, when I think of historical America and the reason that holiday exists, that was literally the only thing in this area that truly represented what Memorial Day is supposed to be around here. And so when they canceled it, I was like super freaking bummed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they would do any. I mean, there was like
sorry to bring the mood down, guys.
No,
yeah, it's all good, man.
Yeah, it was pretty
different perspective on things.
Yeah,
what we're about. That's it to a T.
They were actually doing something, and my family were all planning on kind of going out because my grandfather was World War II. And I'm trying to find actually the text now, because they're doing like a big thing, like ceremonies, and you can do it like all summer, but like in the park where they have, like, they're going to be honoring all vets and stuff like that, and they made like a little memorial down in one of the parks by us. It's really cool. So like my uncle, which is my grandfather's son, is always like looking into it, because it's and it turned out it was like his 100th birthday right around the same time. So it was pretty cool that they have it's all set up. So we're gonna go check that out. I'll have to take pictures when we go. And
if you were ever around like the Roanoke, Virginia area, there's the D-Day Memorial just outside of Roanoke. And I think that is by far the most moving memorial for veterans that I have ever been to in the United States. You walk in, I don't know if you guys have seen Saving Private Ryan, where the intro is the iconic beach scene of storming Normandy. Yep. And how they depict that. And that's basically when you walk into the, I call it, it's called a memorial, but it's like a park essentially.
Yeah.
But when you walk in, the design of it is meant to show you the German perspective of D-Day, storming Normandy. And it was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was very, very moving, and to anybody that that understands American history and the military and how important that is to why we are able to live the way we do. That was a super, super, super amazing memorial to go to. So if you're ever around Roanoke, Virginia, peep that.
There's the
That'd be cool.
actual Pearl Harbor I went to see, and I didn't even know how to process it because at the time I was in the Navy Reserves, and I'm looking at this site with like what are they, aircraft carriers like underneath, and they're like, this is all highlighted, this is where this is, and if you happen to be a survivor of Pearl Harbor, they'll like bury you in the boat, like, or the ship, like a bunch of people were. That's a pretty freaking fucked up memorial right there, dude, because you actually get to witness the actual ships underwater. You can still see them, dude.
Oh, so they haven't been recovered?
No, they're still underwater, and like
Wow.
I said, any survivor that was in the event, if they want, they get to get buried under. Hey, dude, seriously.
Wow.
Nah.
I mean that America needs more shit like that, and then it needs more parents that take their kids to stuff like that. I mean, in my opinion, I just think the America today that we live in is just doesn't. It's no longer appreciated, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's expected almost, right?
It's too far gone. Like it's been too many where it's been too easy without knowing what has actually had to be sacrificed.
Right.
Yeah.
And right, there's there's like a thing, strong men, right? What is it? Strong men create. Saying this, it's
strong men create easy times create weak men create hard times. Hard times create hard men.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that cycle, and like we're kind of at that stage where, unfortunately, right, which is I kind of talking before, right? We're talking about the men's group and stuff and things like that. We're at that point where we got to start creating strong men again, and father figures and dads and people that one, have backbone but understand morals, right? Which is something we're all teach our kids, and like the school systems and what's going on, to go into all that, because if they don't learn it from us at home, they're not learning it. Like we were taught how great our grandfathers were in school, right? Or how, or, things like that. So like if you saw a vet, you honored them because you just read about it in a friggin' book yesterday, right? You like, oh crap, I didn't realize that. Like I'm eating my Cheetos and grilled cheese my mom made, and how easy it's at home.
Oh, dude, you wanna hear something crazy and kind of humbling? I get a call from an old coworker, and we haven't seen each other in years. He's like, "Hey, man, random question. Are you free tomorrow?" I'm like, "Hey, I work tomorrow." He's like, "Really? Like you can't make any time between this time at this address?" I'm like, "I can't. I can't really call off work. It's too short notice." And he's like, "Oh, okay. My kid just wanted to do some honor a vet kind of thing." And I'm like, "Yo, dude, like, oh my goodness, girl, jeez, Louise, I'm trying to have a freaking." All right, go away, guys. You guys are. I was trying to have a beautiful moment, but my children have other plans. But it was very humbling because this kid who I met briefly, and my interaction with him perhaps wasn't as heavy as it sat on him, where he was moved enough to say, "I would like to honor this guy in my school in front of however many people show up." And I'm like, that's cool, man. I'm glad that you think that like my service means something, like, because sometimes I forget, like it's to me it's a chapter of my life that is not closed. I don't know the impact or whatever that it means to other people that perhaps weren't able to join for X, Y, and Z, or wanted to and just never did for any reason. To me, I did it. I went for it, and that was my thing that I wanted to do. But like it's crazy to see, to be thanked and be thought of as like a greater person than how I see myself sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
or to be so,
Yeah, you
so
can
braggadocious.
like a hero, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have a conflict.
I know you don't like that word, it's some, but
But here
but it
to
is,
take it back to
man.
no to take it back to you. A veteran's usually going to have this point of view where he's like, no, man, the heroes, they died over there. That's the real
Mm-hmm.
fucking heroes, and that's how we view those guys, because they made that sacrifice for even us, right? Like even me, I'm there right along with you in this crazy country, but like you went above what I was already doing. You know what I mean? Like you gave it all for
Mm-hmm.
our country, my freedom. You know what I mean? Because I
Sure.
do get to benefit once I'm home. I get to benefit from a lot. You know what I mean? Just all these conflicts all around the world that you guys might not be fully aware of, and it's all getting handled by some really awesome people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna. There's I don't know if you guys have caught it, but there's kind of a trend going around now where there's parents that are about our age that are, they were raised in the 80s, early 90s, and what they're trying to do is to reenact their childhood with their kids and
Mm,
take it back to kind of some of the old school stuff that we experienced. And this goes back to us talking about like all the technology. So a big trend for parents that are our generation is trying to make sure that their kids literally are outside all day from sunup to sundown. Um, Taking like when we try to plan stuff for Emerson, we find ourselves looking for a lot of old timey type stuff that is like now normal society has just gotten away from, right? Like
Yeah.
they're all in big cities. So like we've gone to some rodeos with the boys and my cousins, and we've gone, we always go to the pumpkin patch every year when everybody else is buying pumpkins at the friggin' grocery store because they just don't want to make that time to go out and do it. I understand if you're in a larger city and pumpkin patches just don't exist where you are. That's one thing. But we find ourselves trying to find the old timey stuff that made us feel like kids and helped us kind of grow up and have a better understanding
yeah.
of the world rather than just going out and doing the trendy type stuff of I don't know, taking your kid to a winery and sticking them in a little play area while that stuff's not for us. We try to reflect on the things that really made our childhood special and find activities like that we can do with the kids to kind of give them a taste of how we were raised and go back to the roots of how that time period when we were raised. It was just a totally different United States at that point. And so that's been kind of Jen and I's goal, is to find those activities for Emerson to do.
That's cool. They just opened up an arcade in our like a mall near us, and it's like a big arcade, like a whole thing, which is pretty cool. Like, like our kids don't know what the hell like a Pac-Man is, and like
Yeah.
type of thing and stuff, and
It's the little things, man.
I feel like all these things that we used to do are coming back somehow.
Because, dude, people are like struggling, man. They're realizing the way that society is shifting to technology and AI and all these things, and all they want to do is just fucking wholesomely ground their kids, right? And bring back that type of living and that type of experience to their kids. So, and that's why you see like a lot of old timey type things like that arcade opening. It's nostalgic for us,
100%.
but it's also important to share that kind of stuff with our kids. And I
feel
think
old.
you're going to see a lot more of that.
Yes.
What'd you say?
It makes me feel old.
But I think
we're not young anymore,
right?
so.
Like, I think part of it is like you get to a certain age, right? Right, we're all here with young kids, and it's like, as much as you love your daily routine of being a dad and all that, you're also like, damn, it'd be freaking awesome just to go to like an arcade with my friends and just like have no responsibility for a day. Now we know that's not possible. So what do? You bring your kids, right? And or do something like that. And you could create that. Now it's just creating it in a different way as much, now hopefully maybe you could have some friends and do the same things there too. So you could bring them there. Maybe it is going to like the roller rinks was like a freaking cool thing. I remember going to every birthday party.
Yes.
Was that roller rinks.
Every week the school would have, or the roller rink would have school night.
Yeah.
And we'd go and we'd roller skate for friggin' hours on end.
Hours, right? Like, and it's just, there's little things and, it's kind of like, all right, you're trying to not live through your kids, but you're trying to relive your childhood a little bit and then just kind of see the excitement in them because you know what joy it brought you, right?
Well, and if you don't, that stuff's just, it'll just not exist to the point of where it's like, you see all those TikToks and reels of kids looking at like a rotary phone and their parents are like, I'll give you $100 if you can dial this number. And the kids have no clue what they're even looking at.
No. Or give them a cassette player, like, okay, put all these things together. They're like, what?
Yeah. I mean, if you don't share that stuff, it'll just get lost.
Yeah. Ancient technology.
That's a huge, so you've got stuff like that that's nostalgic to our generation that'll fade away, right? If you don't introduce a new generation to it. But then you also, Alex, a big thing, a big talk in the news now is the trades, right? So mechanics, welders, pipe fitters, plumbers, electricians. It's becoming like a lost art, and the older, wiser people in those career fields are starting to retire, and that whole industry is getting shook the fuck up because there is no one to lead a new generation of those people to get them to the skill set that those people retiring have.
Yeah.
And
colleges will let you study whatever you want and get a degree in whatever you kind of want, I guess, depending on the type of school that you're going to.
Yeah.
Some degrees I don't think are really beneficial for anybody. Like what I mean?
College.
Shit. That's an understatement.
No, but if you need a college degree to be a teacher and you get paid less money than I do during the year, then what to me, it's like, what was the point of that college degree if you're not using it for a better job than just this?
Yeah.
Right?
I won't talk about teachers because
I'm not trying to dismiss
people that
teachers,
go that
again. Yeah. I'm not trying to dismiss teachers, just as an example. You know what I mean? Like, there's some job titles.
No, I agree.
Even forget the teacher example. Sorry, bad example.
But, no, it's a good example because
let's say you make up your own degree. Let's say you make up your own degree and you're like, where are you going to use that? I don't know, but this is going to be my degree. I'm going to major in this and minor in that. And then you get out into the world. You're like, hey, I have all this money that I owe for a job that I thought was real and it wasn't. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I like the teacher example because those people that are teachers it takes a dedicated human being to want to be a teacher.
It's such a thankless job to me.
And that's America failing. That's America failing that those degree seekers. And it's a one-off and
No, I think maybe
it's so crazy because in New York, a teacher is like one of the higher paying careers. Like
is it?
Oh yeah, like in New York, like you're a teacher, you're not set. My niece is 22. She got her first job as a teacher. She started at $60,000. Yeah, like straight out of college, But
what is $60,000 in New York?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that started, and then
because I don't know your cost of living in that area, so that may be okay. I just in Virginia and
$60,000
this area, it's
22-year-old straight out of college. You start there, but then it's like there's the tier, so they go up and
but then how much further do you go up from teacher? What's your next step? They're
gonna be making easily over six figures.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, I don't know unless you're I don't know teacher salaries in Virginia, but I'd be willing to bet, unless you're in a very specialized
Well,
area, you're probably not seeing six figures.
Okay.
yeah,
They're making
maybe
like,
that might be New York numbers.
Yeah.
All the teachers retiring, they're all retiring over $1.20.
Yeah.
All of
Well,
them retiring
you remember-
$1.25, and then their pensions are going to be 60, 70 grand a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I was trying to say is, you remember during the pandemic, a bunch of nurses were like just quitting because it was so dangerous, X, Y, and Z. I think there was like a mass like quitting on teachers on the teacher side too. You know what I mean? So I think, again, this being a thankless job, like what happens when all these people quit? Your classroom just gets bigger and bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how much attention does this one kid get? You know what I mean? It's a very thankless job. You're limited to what you can teach our kids. And if you try to bring other crazy ideas, you might stir the pot and get fired because
parents are expecting the world too.
Well, that's the hard thing too. It's like now they have like, I have a lot of friends and people that teachers like, and teachers can like email you up to like 10 o'clock and they expect you to answer. It's like, no, like you're off the clock, just like like in a lot of jobs. Like it's not their business to answer your email at 9.
Yeah, if I email you at 10 o'clock, it's because it's convenient for me. I don't expect you to respond to me by 8 a.m. the next morning.
Mad like that you didn't,
I don't even check my email.
But there are parents that will be like, "Why the hell didn't you respond to my email?"
Exactly. I know,
Dude,
but
it's a weird world, man.
Teachers get in trouble for that stuff too. Like, because then teachers go to like the parents go to like a superintendent, and they didn't do this. This is my child. They said that, and it's like they always got their hands
crazy
and stuff. Which is why
one of my coworkers. Well, so my sister's in special education, but she doesn't share a lot of that weird parent stuff with me, but one of my coworkers' wives is also a teacher, and he shares with me like some of the, I don't get specifics obviously, but I get some of the conversations that parents have with her, and I'm like, I don't know how she puts up with this on a day in, day out basis. It's just like blatantly parents throwing a fucking temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Like no basis behind whatever the gripe is that they have. It's literally a parent just fucking having a toddler fit in the middle of the park because you told him to get off the fucking playground.
Which is probably why the toddler is probably the worst one in the class too.
Yes, exactly. Which is probably why you're emailing about why your child is failing.
Exactly.
It just blows my mind, but.
But in New York, like a teacher, that's like it's like a whole different topic out here. Now, teachers, they do complain a lot here. So sorry to any teachers out there on the Dad podcast. It is a very highly complained job, just like anything. Most people complain about any of their jobs that they have. But they do in New York, again, like if you're making $100 grand a year plus great benefits and health benefits, they do work on average, I think, 68 or 70 days less per year than, let's say, a plumber, right?
That is a perk. They get the summer off.
They get the summers off plus many, many Mondays or Fridays and things like that.
But that's unpaid, right? You're not getting.
Well, I mean, if their salary, so whether they.
Yeah.
They could either take like a 12-month pay or they could take a 10-month. And they get more in 10 months. But that means they can go work as a bartender in the summer, make another 20 grand probably.
Yeah.
And,
or stay at home with their kids because childcare costs are through the friggin' roof.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Or teach summer school or,
Yeah.
There's a lot of perks to it. But in New York, it's like one of those should have been the highly touted jobs. Like I remember when I was coming out of college, everybody wanted to be a teacher. So basically everybody was like, you're never going to get a job. You're never going to get a job.
It used to be, man. But now the state's all about testing numbers. They're all about budget cuts. And where's the first friggin' place they go is schools when they need some extra money to dig up.
Yep.
Which is unfriggin' fortunate.
Well, a big thing, I don't know, my wife and I, we talk about like the homeschool thing a lot and talking all about, what to do. My wife's like, I don't know. We just had my son.
I forget, your wife stay at home?
Yeah, she stays at home. And like we talk about, like, because he just literally yesterday had his like toddler class certification, graduation type thing, whatever he goes to. And now it's like, all right, in September, he's going to do 3 days a week. And my wife's like, I don't even want him to go to 3 days a week. He's going to be in school his whole freaking life. I want him home as much as possible, And, we go back and forth between homeschool or, then obviously private school or public school.
I will say so Emerson was a COVID baby. The first couple years of his life was the COVID BS. But when he started going to his preschool 4 days a week, he really started blossoming as far as developmental skills.
Yeah.
And some of it, I think, was just interaction with other kids, but a lot of it was just kind of because it wasn't structured, right? They'd do like coloring and stuff with the kids. They'd have play time. They'd have music time. But I think that structure really kind of helped him develop.
Yeah.
And as soon as he started that program at his little daycare with the 4 days a week, we saw him really hit some cool developmental milestones.
Okay.
I think a little bit ahead of his time. So if he's getting a lot of play dates, like that kind of thing, maybe your wife's right. He doesn't need to do it.
Yeah, you definitely gotta go out there and do things and stuff like that. You can't just be sitting home like playing blocks.
As where Emerson didn't, right? The only kids he interacted with because of the whole COVID BS were his cousins.
Yeah.
Because we'd still get together. We didn't give a shit, whatever. But yeah, if he's doing a lot of play dates, maybe not the same case in your scenario, but
yeah, well,
I think it was
what
super
people do
beneficial.
now is like you'll have like maybe there's like 5 moms in your town that all just do homeschool. So basically, you just you
rotate, right?
And they like rotate, and it's like, all right, hey, like we're gonna do this, but it's not like the same age, but you try to find like interactive things. I have like a few people I went to college with that do that, and I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of sending them to school for socialization, and I loved school because I loved.
But there's other ways to socialize besides school, is what people fail to realize. Because I think that's the most common argument: is your kid's going to be like some sort of leper or not have social skills, right? Because they're not interacting with kids enough. But kids really only interact but so much during the school day. They're working on assignments, maybe at playtime they're all doing whatever the hell they want. Yeah. But I think if your kid's getting out of the house and you got play dates and you got birthdays and things you're doing, you got kids in the neighborhood, I don't really know that that's a valid argument that your kids' social skills are going to be crushed by homeschooling.
Yeah, I'm thinking as they kind of get more older, I think.
Right. Yeah. I could see that definitely being different.
Because I was homeschooled for 1.5 years, but I had I was in 3rd grade and
you were so weird, dude. I knew it.
Right? You could tell. See, that's the problem.
Just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, but I did see something funny. It was like, hey, you thought all the homeschool kids would be weird, but now they're like, there's like cats that say they're in, what they call furries. So I don't know if that's a thing out by you guys, but
it's everywhere.
Not yet.
It is, yeah.
There's only
it's there. You just don't know about it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, we did that, but I had like sports. I had friends already from prior school, so it was like different. And it was just like, all right, it was homeschooled. We were done by 12 o'clock in the day, and then it was like, now what do we do? We finished our work.
What do? You just hang out, play time?
I had my brother, so me and my brother, we whatever. We go outside, you play hockey, you play football, wiffle ball, video games if it was raining, and then we'd wait for our friend down the block, get home from school at 3 o'clock, and we'd be like, all right, where the hell you been? 3 hours.
What are you doing?
So, but it was cool, but we enjoyed going back after. I think eventually,
Nice.
I don't know.
All right. Anyone have any closing thoughts, or I'll wrap us up?
No, I think Alex, there's a different perspective. Like we always talk. You always see people, and talk about Memorial Day from a different perspective, but then what you happen if you haven't been in your situation, I think we all do. We kind of all gravitate back to like, oh, it's a 3-day weekend. What did we do? What type of party did we have?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Who did you get together with, and what did you do? And it makes you realize it's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
As always, I'm
Yeah.
going to say a billion times. I always thank you for your service and to your friends and your heroes, man.
Yeah, man. Those guys are my fucking heroes for sure, dude. 100%. They're my fucking heroes.
So
Gone too soon is an understatement. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I wish we had a Memorial Day episode beforehand, but we're men and we forget things that are coming up. We're working on that.
We're terrible with holidays.
We're working on that. So give us credit for remembering it after the fact, and we'll work on get better before the fact, so we can start giving some tips for the next holidays and things. But Nick, you could wrap it up, my man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you hanging out with us. I was gonna say something, but now I forgot what it is. So check out the Facebook group. Check out the so by the time this releases, it will be 2 episodes ago, but there's now a special episode 1. Got some resources out there for anyone who may be affected by someone who is dealing with a loved one who may have substance abuse or drug, alcohol addiction issues. That was an awesome freaking episode. Can't thank Brandy enough for helping us out with that.
Yes.
And stay tuned. I think going forward, once a month is the goal for those special episodes to drop. So that'll be us trying to bring you some excellent information straight from the horse's mouth, rather than us just sharing personal opinions. So as always, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe, check out the Facebook group, and we'll catch you on the next episode. See you.
Peace.